So one question people ask me sometimes is what kind of gear do I use for doing the reviews and the website and all that kind of stuff. And so, the first thing I want to say before that is it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. There's a saying about musicians that a really good musician can make even a lousy instrument sound good. And I'm not saying that to say that I can, make a bad set of drums sound good. Instead, what I'm saying is like, don't worry about the gear. Just go do your thing, Like, get whatever camera you can, or a webcam, or, borrow a computer. It doesn't matter. You just want to do what do your thing. And if your content is good, then people will respond to it. And then you'll find a way to get better gear, to borrow it, get somebody to sponsor you, sell some ads on your videos or whatever, earn some money to buy some better gear, that kind of thing. That being said, since people ask, my camera, I used to use a Sanyo Exacti HD1, which is was one of the first versions. When I got it, it was last year's model, but that was a year or so ago. But since then, I now use this guy, the Canon FS100. And I bought this myself. I'm not sponsored by Canon or anything. When I picked this up, it was about $325. And I also have a really cheap Targus tripod that I bought at the local drugstore for about $15. This tripod actually is really good. It's really lightweight, and it breaks down, pretty small. It's telescoping, but it's small. It's tall enough that I can use it for different kinds of videos. Now that I'm on camera, it's not breaking down for me. But it breaks down small enough that I can stick it in my gear bag when I'm going to cover a show or something. Works pretty well, so that's good. Not totally professional quality, but perfectly fine for me. The camcorder, I got the FS100 for 3 reasons. First off, it uses micro SD, SD card instead of a tape or a hard drive. And for me, this is the best way to go because most of my videos are pretty short, so I don't need a whole hard drive's worth of space. This is a 4 gig SD card, plenty of room for my, for what I do. I can shoot a few videos worth of footage on this, no problem. It transfers quickly. When I put it into my computer, the card is able to transfer footage much more quickly than a tape would be able to. And second reason I got this is because it's not HD, it's SD. Up until this point, all the videos we do, are destined for the web. So SD quality is plenty fine. YouTube now does HD. So maybe we'll get into doing HD stuff in the future. But for now, SD is totally fine. And the SD files are a lot smaller to transfer. And because they're smaller files, they're faster to edit and to export than HD would anyway. And so especially if I'm at a show, but even if I'm just editing, the longer it takes to export something, the less I can get done in a day. So the smaller file size is definitely important. And like I said, at some point we'll probably move to HD, but for now SD is totally fine. Third reason I got this camcorder is because it has an external microphone jack on it. It's kind of hard to find an external mic jack on a low-cost consumer camcorder. This is one of the few that has one. And this is, again, really good for being at trade shows because in the noisier environment, if I'm just shooting a video in the office or in the studio, it's easy. I can use the built-in microphone. It picks up, my voice just fine. But if I'm out in a trade show and somewhere where it's really loud, having the external mic makes it a lot easier to get good sound quality, especially if, like Megadug's with me and he's doing the camera and then I'm holding the mic. It really helps. And it's actually pretty hard to find an inexpensive camcorder that has a mic jack. This one has it. The video quality is pretty good. So that's why we went with it. It's also got a built-in video light, although we also got an external video light that helps quite a bit. So there you go. So once the videos are shot, like I said, when I got the camcorder, I picked up an extra battery and that external video light. And I had just a cheap, it's a $20 microphone, works fine for voice. You don't need, like I said, you don't need the super expensive gear. It's more about making your content good. As far as computers go, I've long been a Mac user. Again, I don't get endorsed or anything by them. I pay for my stuff. And Apple is actually the one phone company that doesn't send us free stuff. We have to buy the iPhones to review them. But I've kind of always been a Mac user because that's what they had at my school when I was a kid. And I have tried Windows video editing programs recently, but I still prefer the Mac video editing stuff. So I have a MacBook, the white version. This is a 2 gigahertz model. This thing has broken about 6 times. It keeps breaking. Right down here, the plastic is broken over and over again. And then the DVD drive broke. Some other stuff broke on it, but they keep replacing it. I don't know if you can tell on here, but the plastic down here is brand new, whereas the rest of it, you can see it's discolored because it's older. Because the last time I sent it in, they replaced the bottom part, but they didn't replace the rest of it. You can see the bottom end, the battery and stuff is all kind of scratched up, and this is actually, the hinge is bent, and so it doesn't close up quite flush. It's a little bit off-centered here. But anyway, just standard MacBook. I also, what I'm shooting this video on right now is actually just the webcam camera. I'll see if I can show you here. See that? You can see that I'm shooting this on, can you see it? There you go. You can see that I'm shooting this on my MacBook, MacBook Pro. Just being a little dorky there. But it's a MacBook Pro. It's the older generation, not the brand new ones with the black glass screen. But when those came out, the last generation's models went on super clearance. So I picked one of these up, which stays in my office. One of the downsides of working for yourself, being a freelancer, you have to buy your own equipment. You don't go into the office and use their computer. So I picked this up. It stays in my office most of the time, but I'm not going to be in the office for a little while, so I brought it home. Anyway, so I've got the last gen MacBook Pro. It's a great machine, works great for me, a little bit faster than the MacBook, and better graphics card, that kind of thing. And then I also recently did a little experiment. I picked up an MSI Win netbook, 10-inch screen, Intel Atom processor. I was able to get Mac OS X loaded onto this, and kind of as an experiment, I wrote about it a little bit on kravvykrav.com, and it was working well for a while. Now I'm having trouble with the Wi-Fi card not being detected by airport, and I think the experiment is probably just about over. You can see it's running OS X, but I was planning to sell this machine, but I think I'm probably going to wind up just selling the netbook. I like the idea of the netbook for taking it to trade shows because it's so small and light. And when you walk around for 3 days with your computer and all the other gear in your bag, the lighter the better. But between the airport card problems I've been having and also the fact that editing video on this, editing is fine, exporting is really slow. For a work situation like a trade show, it's just not going to probably do me that much good. So probably the experiment is over. I'll probably be selling this soon and going back to using the MacBook at trade shows. So that's the gear I use. Again, my advice, if you're, I get this question a lot, but whatever, I'm recording this video just on a webcam and it's fine. So as long as, you spend some time, obviously I didn't spend a lot of time in the background of this, but spend some time with, lighting and, get an external mic maybe for your computer. You can do that on the cheap for like 20 bucks, but you don't necessarily need a bunch of gear. Those new low-cost camcorders like the Flip, as long as you're not doing close-up of screens, those actually work pretty well. If you're in a noisy environment or doing a close-up of a screen, that's when they start to falter. But you can get a lot done with minimal gear. Again, don't worry about the gear. Worry about your content first. Start finding stuff that people want to watch and they comment on and they get excited about. And then once you get that happening, then you can worry about what kind of gear you're using and how to make your videos better and all that kind of stuff.